Perry Peacock here with Wilderness Innovation, and up camping on a little solo outing here up in the out in the West Desert in the juniper forest. And just wanted to show you a little something. I've got pitched right here is our PST. That's our PST's our regular size. That's 7x7 tarp, and PST stands for Personal Survival Tarp. It's designed for one person. There's some applications where we can actually fit two people in it, depending on how you set it up. One of about 20 to 25 different ways you can set it up. I've actually constructed this into a super shelter type arrangement here today, and I just wanted to show it to you. I used this actually last night. I didn't get in here till after dark, so I tried to do a little filming last night, but it's a little grainy, a little sketchy, so thought I'd redo it again today here, just to show you a little bit about you may have seen one of our other videos where we show using the PSTL, or the large tarp, and we did a 3 to 4 man shelter, super shelter like this. But this is kind of adapting it a little bit differently in order to try to take advantage of the smaller size tarp for 1 or 2 people. So let me show you a little bit of the details about this, and we'll get into this thing, okay? Let's go! Alright, so what I want to do here is just show a few features more up close. So what I've done is I've pitched the PST on what I call a diamond or diagonal shape. So I staked out the back corner there to the ground, and then the opposite corner I tied off up here, and I wound up using a vertical pole right here just to get a little more elevation than the trees right here were giving me conveniently. And I tied that off. Now the 7x7 PST is 10 feet on the diagonal, 7 feet squared, 10 feet on the diagonal. So we got 10 feet from there up to here. And what I've done is I've pitched it about a little more than 6 feet tall to the peak here, because I'm wanting to leave plenty of room down inside for sitting or kneeling or that sort of thing in the front area. And so I pitched it like that. Now you'll also notice on here there's you come back from one corner, there's a tie out here halfway between the corner and the middle. If you look right over in there, you'll see another tie out. That's the center one. The regular PST only has 2 tie outs, one in the center and one towards one corner. The large size has 3 tie outs. So, but anyway, so I tied it out there, which if we kind of step back, you'll see it kind of pulls the roof line back. So that gives you a little bit more headroom in the front. Now I also could have used this, and I often do, use this center one as well and pull back there too and give myself even a little bit more. So there's, we tried to provide as simple as possible and provide you still as much flexibility. So that's how the tarp is set up. It's staked down here on the corners. And the other thing that I did that often we don't do with a PST and a diagonal pitch is normally we're bringing the corners all the way out, you know, just straight off the peak and all the way down. Well, I wanted to use a piece of visqueen that was only 4 feet wide and like 8 feet long. So I wanted my sides to be vertical at 4 feet apart right here. So what I did is I just tied them off like that, and I used some wood and some sticks right here and tied off to, if you can see right here, I tied off to a tab. I just hung it on a little nub off this stick. Actually, I didn't even tie this side. And then I just tied the stick off up here. I tied it off to a tree, and that pulls it out and pulls it back this way to keep some tension on it. So that way, that gives me a vertical wall that's about 4 feet tall, and we're 4 feet, like I say, side to side. And normally we use duct tape in here on these to secure the visqueen. And we just started carrying these easy clips, which are, this is like the mini one, which is their newest one. And that one is basically to give you another tie-out point on a tarp without having to have a grommet or a tab in there. So we decided that'd be a nice item to carry, just to give an infinite range of, in case you need a tie-out in a place we haven't provided one. And just used it here, and it worked really nicely for holding that on there, very secure. And so now I'm gonna open up. I'll roll up the bottom here so we got access, and I'll show you the inside now. So what I've done in here is underneath I've got my boughs, juniper and pine boughs. Then I put my PSS. If you're not familiar, that's our personal survival shelter. That makes into a poncho, a hammock, or a tarp itself. And I use that kind of as a ground cloth. And then I've got my poncho liner right here, and then I've got actually a foam blanket that I used on top. That's what I slept in. And now you notice in here the shiny surface inside of here. I'll show you that up close in just a moment. That's actually an emergency blanket, and we put that in there because we build a fire in front, which I'll show you in a moment. We build a fire in the front. The radiant heat from the fire goes through the visqueen, comes in, hits this shiny mylar, and then it bounces down inside of here. So when you're in here, you feel the heat of the fire radiating down onto you. Very, very warm, very comfortable. It's easy, well below zero, to be able to be at room temperature inside this thing. So I'll show you that in a little bit more detail in just a second. I got to clear a little stuff out of here. And right now I just opened up the visqueen here. I got a thermometer hanging in here. We're at about 65 degrees in there now. Outside we're just hovering around the 32 degree mark. So considerably warmer just with what sunlight comes in here being trapped into there. And ideally you could set this shelter up. I'm actually pointing kind of a little more west and slightly south. If I were to get in a clearing where I could point directly south, this would really be awesome in the daytime. Whenever you have a clear sky, you could be just toasty warm in there during the daytime. Well, let me show you some up close here. Alright, so we're looking up to the peak, to the ridge line inside of here. And if you look right here, let me slide this down so you can point it out a little for you. Right here, that's a piece of bank line. And what I did is I tied it off to the, clear down in the bottom, to the corner tab that's staked into the ground. The other end is tied off up top to the upper tab. And then what I did is I just draped this space blanket or emergency blanket over it. And then along the sides here you can see I put some little strips of duct tape. And that just kind of holds it back in place right there. And that's all we do really to hold that thing in place. And so you see there's the inside, the sleeping area right there. You could squeeze two people in here if you needed to. Okay, then here's an up close on these easy clips right here that we carry. What I've done here is just folded the visqueen over the edge of the tarp, and then this thing just is basically just a wedge type deal. Right here, you see that? It's kind of got a wedge shape to it, and when you shove that in, that wedge tightens down on whatever you're gripping. And as you can see right here, there are some little teeth in there that grip as well. These things hold very well. They also make a larger version that we're going to carry. But this little small one right here I like. For application right now, we don't really care about the little tie-out that it gives us. We're just using it for clamping. That's very nice because it's quick to do, and it's very easy to unclamp as well. So anyway, so that's how we did that. Now you can see up here, this is the top of the tarp, and this doesn't come straight up anymore. It angles over to that point up there. So this being a rectangular piece of visqueen, I have these flaps left over. So what I did is I just brought them to the middle here, one on the other side and this one, and I folded them over the parachute cord that's holding this tab up, and then I just folded them over, and then I just used an easy clip right there just to clip them down, and that makes a very nice seal up there on the top and holds these things from flapping around. So now you see, if we look at the back end of it, you know, we're staked into the ground here, and we go up, and then we've made the front kind of flare out and fan out, so we have down in here is just for our feet when you're sleeping. The front, you need room for sitting or kneeling or whatever, so it's flared out wide and tall, and so we've kind of adapted this the diamond pitch to accommodate that on this thing, and to give us a really nice wide area to capture the radiant heat off the fire or the sun. Alright, so what we've got right here is we've got about 4 feet between the fire and the front of the shelter. Really, for around here, most of the wood that's available that's dead is mostly a smaller diameter. So probably I could have come up maybe to be 3 feet off and been fine, but that works good. You want your fire to be about the same width as your shelter. So my fire was about 4 feet wide, so I cut or broke all my sticks into 4-foot lengths, and then I stacked them up, and I kept the logs or the wood about so high on here, so I had a nice sheet of flame coming back, reflecting into the shelter. So that could give me you know, 75 degrees inside the shelter, when last night it was down in the teens, you know, 16 to 18 degrees. So very comfortable in there. Makes it possible to sleep in there without even a sleeping bag and still be plenty warm. So that's the layout here for the super shelter. It's an idea from Morris Kahansky out of Alberta, Canada, and we've adapted it here to our regular size PST, the 7x7 PST. So this is Perry Peacock with Wilderness Innovation, just showing you a little more camp fun here. Gotta love it. It's just so much fun. I don't know. I can't get out here enough, even though I get out here a lot. Take care. Have a great day. Bye now.